Rivers. They play a vital role in the world's ecosystems and act as a source of potable water for a majority of communities around the globe. Despite their importance, more often than not they're neglected, trashed with little care as to what lives in it and where the water goes. However, in terms of our community, the Ashtabula Water and Soil Conservation District has made a concerted effort to clean the Ashtabula River, enlisting the help from local businesses as well as members of the community from all around the state. Nathan Paskey, the district manager, has more to say about this topic.
I'm Nathan Paskey, the manager of the Soil and Water Conservation District here in Ashtabula County. About 4 years ago, Tom Blotzer, president of the Central Basin Steelheaders, was at a conservation meeting with a bunch of conservation folks, found out I was from Ashtabula, and afterwards said, hey, we cleaned the Conneaut, we cleaned the Grand. Can we do something on the Ashtabula? So Soil and Water, Steelhead, Central Basin Steelheaders, and the City Port Authority, because they actually own the land across the river and under Route 20. We joined forces and put all our own money into it, each respective organization, rented a 14-yard dumpster, which we filled in one encampment. We ended up filling 30 yards of dumpster that day with about 30, 40 volunteers, mostly from the Steelhead Club. Last year, probably had about 50 people show up, and we had a lot, probably half from the community. And we cleaned, unfortunately, the same places and cleaned up 7 tons of trash. This year, I secured a grant from Ohio EPA for a little over $3,000. We were able to buy 4 wheelbarrows, 6 rakes, 30 grabbers, 100 vests, gloves, so that people didn't have to bring their own equipment. We rented the compactor truck again, so we'll know once they go to the dump how many tons we collected this year. We'd like to keep this an annual event. I'm hoping I can keep people excited about cleaning the same sites year after year. So we'll see what happens. Yeah, the other thing I'd like to do, just because there's a lot of partners in this, with the City Port Authority, you have Mark Brockway, who is a board member there. He's also on the Scenic River Council. He runs Brockway Marina. He has been here every year with his own equipment, a tractor. He's actually with the Edgewood students at the 24th Street Bridge right now. Shout out to Lowe's, Zach Weaver and Brian White that work there. My budget was determined in November with inflation when I went to buy things on April 1st per the requirements of the grant. I wasn't able to buy the equipment that I budgeted in November. I didn't have enough money. They basically reduced the prices on about everything, and I was able to secure more equipment than I planned for. So Lowe's needs a real shout out. They said it's for their community. Jim Funky from Ashtabula Concrete, that's the skid steer that's here today, donating his time. The Park Commission provided a lot of the pop, a lot of the water, the chips for lunch. Worked with Domino's in town. They're donating all the pizza for lunch. I don't want to leave anybody out. The Park Commission itself, the Steelheaders, the City Port Authority, just residents from the community. There's a lot of folks here today that aren't associated with the Steelhead Club or the Port Authority. They're just here to help. Of course, the Edgewood students that have come to help. That was a big help today. They're cleaning a section of the river that we've never been able to clean. We sent them up there. Mark is helping them. George Warnock from the Western Reserve Land Conservancy. Those two are up there helping the students. One of the challenges down here, these are abandoned, but they were active just a month or so ago. You have to be very concerned about needles. You have to be very concerned about the human waste. You have to be concerned about what's in containers. You don't want to open them. You have no idea. There's a little bit of an inherent danger in cleaning these encampments up. So I talked to the students before they went up there to be very careful. Yes, the Central Basin Steelheaders, and not everyone's a member, but there are several guides here today who actually guide on our local rivers. There's a lot of members from the Steelhead Club. They're the ones that come from really all over Northeast Ohio, and they're coming here to a community they don't live in, working to clean it up just because right over our shoulder is the Ashtabula River that they fish in. So a real shout out to them.
Yeah. As previously mentioned, the homeless epidemic is one of the largest factors in the build of trash and waste, which presents a very complicated issue. Many of the homeless are unable to afford to clean up after themselves, often leaving behind camps that put an unmistakable stain on the typically pristine forests and waters surrounding the river. Mike Kushma, another volunteer present at the day of the cleanup, showed me one of these camps and has shared his view on the situation.
They even dump garbage into cemeteries, on
Wow.
the sides of the road, Indian Trails Park, Cedar Crest Park. Pick one, you'll find garbage.
That is actually pretty bad. Do you think there are going to be more cleanup events like this one in the future?
If I'm not mistaken, it's almost biannual. This one is annual.
So
You see, there's a bunch of people down here trying to help, but no, I guess not too many people showed up today.
I think
Well, quite a few did, but they're all across the street picking up more mess. And has to educate the people around here to keep their garbage in their own garbage can and not everywhere.
Yeah. So do you think the cleanup would encourage more people to be more clean, I guess?
If they get educated about it, yes, and if they would just volunteer to do it, around here, which here's a Little League baseball field, and there's a ton of garbage right around the field.